Thank you very much for joining another GoDaddy Pro EMEA meetup. Today, as the whole month that we've been trying to work on and talk about is the automation. So today as well, we have an amazing lady, actually, Gisela Bravo, who will be... Hello, Gisela, how are you?
Hi. Hello, I'm fine. I'm really excited to talk about automation things.
I mean, everything has become automation. Nowadays, even the milk is supposed, actually, the jar of milk is supposed to let us know, hi, Stella, how are you? So the jar of milk is actually should send us a message saying, hi, saying like, yeah, I need a replenishment and stuff like that. So how about
Yeah.
business? So in business, there's a lot of automation. I mean, web development industry has actually scaled so much in the past year, and lots of new jobs and business opportunities have arisen in the market, and somehow there is everything. There is the base for the success, but there is not enough time. So Gisela, tell us please how it is possible to efficiently use time, and how what are the techniques that you use and that you consult your clients as well in
Mhm.
order to scale at the proper heights and in the proper way. Tell us more.
Yes, well, I think that the first step that we should do is thinking about it, which repetitive task we are doing every day, and how we can automate these repetitive tasks which are not productive, and we it's better if we focus on another task with more value. For example, preparing a quote, or preparing something for a client, and not making the same actions every day. So this is why it's very interesting to automate. And we have to think that right now we are using a lot of softwares for marketing, finance, or a lot of softwares that we are using right now. And well, we have a lot of information in every software, and I think that it's very interesting to automate how the information can flow from one software, from our CRM, for example, to our website, and to our finance software, for example. So I think that in that moment, it's uh, it's a must to learn to automate, and how we can use some tools to automate something in order to help our day.
Sorry, I wasn't able to press the unmute button in the right time. So this is amazing. I mean, it's nowadays it's not only actually how you what type of business you have and what type of branding you have, but if you don't have the right tools and you don't have the right amount of time to commit to the client development at the
Yeah.
same time, then you're actually reaching a point where you either expand, so you bring either more people and create more costs for a company, or you
Hmm.
try to find some ways how some automated tasks could actually work in your favor. So when you talk about automation, could you tell us more about what actually you mean by automation? What type of tasks could be actually automated?
Yes. Well, in the presentation, we are going to talk how to automate um, with our plugins in our WordPress website. But I think that the main task that we have to automate is all about invoice things. I think this is the main issue that all the clients needs to automate in their websites, if they have e-commerce or membership sites or whatever. they need to automate this this part of invoicing. And well, as we are going to see, it's very interesting to automate some actions between, in this case, between our plugins or between our different softwares, as I said. So, well, I want to say that automation, it's not about the future, it's about the present, because we have to be able to be more effective. We have to be able to improve our productive skills, and this is means that we have to automate. So and now we have no code tools, so we don't need to know about PHP or some coding languages. We can automate without writing any line code. So this is the perfect moment.
This is actually, like, I'm sure a lot of people who will be watching this video also later, and people who are on the call, they understand the importance of tasks. First of all, being discovered, what needs to be done, and then second of all, if they're repetitive, to take care of them, what happened in the meantime. So when it comes to how, first of all, how many automation tools you use yourself?
Wow. Do you mean by myself or with my clients? Because it's
Give me
very
both.
different.
Give me both.
My God. I never think about it, because every project, it's very different. It's true that I think in the 90% of my projects, I use AutomatorWP in the WordPress websites. I use WP Fusion as well, and Integromat is part of my life. Every day I have to use Integromat. And what else? I think that these are my main tools, but as I said, every project is very different. They need another requirements and different tools. So I'm specialized in marketing automation. So I use a lot of marketing automation softwares, as HubSpot, Mautic, ActiveCampaign, and Doppler as well, Sendinblue. Well, I can list a lot of softwares in order to automate our marketing, and just only for automate things. As I said, I use AutomatorWP, WP Fusion, and Integromat, which is similar to Zapier.
Yes, yes. I think it's a very vast set of tools that you're using daily. You might be very busy. I would ask all our attendees, Stella and Irene and Carlos and Florian, maybe you guys can just put us in chat for the time being. Later on, we will discuss openly, like, how many of those tools do you use? I also put it in the poll that I have asked you to kindly fill, just to understand actually whether automation is something. Let me share actually in the meantime. And polling, all right, and I will share the results. So I hope you guys are seeing the results. So 4 people have used it and 4 people didn't use the Automator. And 4 people out of 4 as well some are using less or more automation tools. So this is great. So honestly, I think it's a very interesting time also to mention that maybe some of your hobbies. What's your perhaps hobby? I mean, are you do you have a separation between a private life or it's and your professional life? Is your hobby also something in IT?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think that in that moment, I think it's the same.
It's the same. Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Because I
Yes.
see that you use so many of tools, so that means that actually your hobby is exploring the tools. I've been talking to a number of.
Yes, I should have another hobby. I know, without with no relation about automation or marketing or something like that. I have to work in this part, but well,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
of course, all of us. So before we dig into the Automator WP, could you tell us
yeah.
more? Could you give us an advice, for instance, how to choose an automation tool? What requirements do we need to have ready on our side to understand
Hmm.
which tool actually we need? There are so many options and solutions in the market. And I mean, I spoke to a couple of WordPressers who told me if I've got $1 for each version of the software that I tested, I would have been a millionaire already. So,
Yeah, you're right.
so how would you actually, what type of information people need to have in order to understand what requirement
Mhm.
they're looking from a solution?
Yes, well, I love this question because it's this is the most common question that the people ask to me. I think that in the first place we have to have a clear idea what we want to do and which is the goal of this automation. Then we can search which automation tool is the best option or whatever. But don't think. I think that a big mistake is thinking first. Think about the tool and not about the problem, because it's crazy. If you search all the automation solutions that currently they are available in internet, it's really crazy. First think about which is the problem and which is the goal in order to solve this problem. Okay, so when we have this clear idea, will be very easy to choose the tool. Where doesn't matter if we are talking about a plugin or, for example, a marketing automation software. And um, and if we are talking about a plugin, I think the best for me, the most important thing is about the support, because we always have problems. I think that never exist two equal automations. I think that I never used the same automations in two projects. I think that never happens at the moment. So it's very important to have a big support there and someone who hear about your suggestions, and if you need a new feature, that they are agile for updating the plugin. And I think it's yes, I understand that we are talking about automation, but we don't have to forget that we need a person there, not just well, this is the plugin and that's all, because there will be a lot of mistakes. My life every day is dealing with a lot of mistakes in automations. So believe me that I think the most important thing is about the support.
I couldn't agree more with you. I think that the support is the vital point because it's like a car when you buy it. I mean, everything's
Yeah.
when it runs, but when it stops,
Yes.
the mechanic, you know. So if the
Yes. Yes. Yes.
not
Right.
there, you have an issue, you know. And if the mechanic is somewhere in US and you cannot reach them or somewhere else, it can create a lot of problems. So let's talk about Automator then, WP. Who actually, let me ask you the first question, who could be
Mhm.
the beneficiary of this program? Who this program helps to? Who is it catered for?
Yeah. Well, I'm in a practical uh, way. I think that it's very interesting to having a plugin as Automator WP. If you have an e-commerce or a membership site or something that the user spends time in your website. Okay, I mean, if you have only a one page site because you have services and you have to explain in the landing page, you explain which is your expertise, and the only thing that you have to do is submit a form and that's all. Well, you don't need any extra plugin. But if the user navigates into your website, use different plugins, then yes, it's very interesting to use Automator WP. I use a lot Automator WP and this kind of plugin in e-commerce projects and membership sites.
Very interesting. How would you describe it? I mean, if you used it, how does it help? Where do you see the improvement? Well, what is the whole benefit that you get out of it?
Yes, well, as I said, this helps us to automate or make possible things that maybe previously we cannot do that. Uh, for example, we have examples in the presentation, but just to explain an example, let's imagine that we have, I don't know, we have LearnDash because we have courses, okay, and we have, I don't know, a Stripe, okay, in order to get all the payments. Okay, so in order to connect these two services with Automator WP is really easy to set up that once the user has made a payment, then enroll this user to that course in LearnDash without any code.
That is amazing. That's a great business proposal as well for a client, which did not even think perhaps of that existing. So besides being a web developer, I always say that web developers and designers are actually business consultants at the same time because they can improve the customer's experience either of their own or customer
Yeah,
side.
sure. Automation is all about customer experience. Because if you imagine that we don't have any automation, the user makes the payment, and well, you have to send to the user an email. Okay, thanks for the payment, but you have to wait, I don't know, 24 hours in order to enroll you to the course. Okay, this is very different if we do that at the same time. This is customer experience.
Correct, correct. There is also already a question Carlos is asking, like, do you have any recommendation for plugins for pickup delivery times and dates for restaurants?
I think that there's a lot of plugins about this kind of services. I'm really sure that for example, with this kind of plugins of automations, you can take the date and you can provide this date to and send an email to a restaurant, for example. But in that case, I think this is more complex setup because you have to have a really good booking plugin and a really good communication and fast communication with the restaurant. I think this is very complex to in order to set up a delivery service.
Thank you very much. I'm sure Estela, if Irene or Carlos, I mean, if anyone else would have a proposal, perhaps please list them in the chat.
Yes.
Let's discuss those. That would be great. I just can't remember, just maybe a couple of weeks back, I saw a very interesting one for a restaurant, and I think they were even demoing this. Look, Carlos, if I remember where I found that plugin and information, I will surely revert to you. So from my side, at least you will get something as well. So that's very interesting. So, why don't we move to the presentation? Because I'm sure we'll have the questions, so we can leave some time for them to have questions as well.
Yes, perfect. Because I'm going to share a presentation, and then at the end we are going to set up in live an automation. And I think it's very interesting to do that.
I can't wait.
So let's do that. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Share. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see. We can.
Yes, right? Okay. So, well, as I said, let's talk about AutomatorWP. As I talked before with Maha, what is an automation? So first, let's talk about what does it mean, an automation, okay? I'm going to explain an example, a real example. Let's imagine that we come into a dark room, and in case we want to turn on the light, we have to press the switch. And after that, the light will turn on. Okay, in this situation is a manual process, and we make something and the other thing happens. Now we are going to imagine the same situation with an automatic process. So we come into the same dark room, but in this case there's a sensor. And the lights turn on automatically. We haven't done anything, just the lights turn on once we are inside of the room. This is the same that we do with AutomatorWP. We can activate some actions without to be there changing anything. So let's see the examples. I think that this is the best explanation. Seeing the examples that all the features and all the things that we can do with AutomatorWP. Well, the first, with AutomatorWP, we can set up that once a user enrolls in a course inside our LearnDash plugin, when this happens, then this user will be added to a group of BuddyPress plugin. Okay, let's see another example. Okay. Now let's imagine the example that we are using gamification in our website, in that case BuddyPress. When a user earns an achievement, at the moment in this moment the user have access to a premium group in our BuddyPress. Let's see another. Okay. In addition, we can also do amazing actions and automations with our e-commerce, which is built in WooCommerce. We can add an user to a special group of BuddyPress once this user has purchased a product. Okay, after this presentation, we are going to build this automation in live. So, okay, as I see before, I love to use WP Fusion because this plugin helps us to send a tag of a user to our CRM, to our email marketing software, marketing automation software. So for me, this example is very important because it's very useful to for me. Is when a user purchases a product, then this user is tagged with in WP Fusion, and then this tag is sent to our CRM. So in our CRM, we can see a tag that this user has purchased this product in our e-commerce. And another thing that I love it is that we can send this information to Zapier or Integromat. So I think that all the possibilities that we can do, since we can send this information to Zapier, you can connect it to, I don't remember if they have 800 integrations with yes, I think 800 applications. So you can do a lot of things, but as I wanted to talk about with some examples. To sum up, let's see which features has AutomatorWP. In the first place, I think this is a clear idea. As we have seen, we can connect the plugins and create workflows. We can automate this repetitive and hateful task. And one of the most interesting features is that we can connect plugins, okay, but from different websites, from different WordPress. Imagine that we have an e-commerce with WooCommerce, and we have an I don't know, a learn website with courses. So if a user purchase this course in our e-commerce, this user will have access to our another web page with all the courses that we have, all the lessons and whatever. So this is perfect to connect to websites and send information between one to another. And the last two things that you must consider is that Automate help us to save time, money, and thanks to AutomatorWP without code, as we will see in the live real case. Well, here we can see an example of all the integrations, but well, we have right now we have more than 60 plugins, and I think every month they put another new integration. So this is this will change in some months. So, but well, I think that they are the main plugins. And we have an interesting feature that they are the webhooks. Webhooks help us to, once an action happens, send information to somewhere. Here, in these webhooks help us to send. We can connect, as I said, we can connect plugins from different sites. As I said before, when a user purchases a membership in one website, then this user have access to our second web page, for example. Or we can connect, as I said, we can connect thanks to webhooks. We can connect WooCommerce to Zapier or Integromat or anything that accepts webhooks. And for developers, we can create our custom REST API. But this is for devs. So if you want to play with that, you can do that. And let's talk about the add-ons. Okay, we have this feature that we can schedule some actions. I mean, for example, in one project that I have used AutomatorWP, one thing was sending an email after 3 days once the user has been registered into my website. Okay, so this option helps us to delay the action that we can, and the action that we have to add to our automation. And this is perfect because when I test my automations, maybe I want to block all the admins, users, because if we don't do that, maybe as an admin, I can run certain automations, and I don't want to do that because I want these automations for external users, not for admins. And we can create actions from links that we can link to. These links can start out certain automations in our AutomatorWP. So now let's see this in live. That I think this is very interesting to do that. Okay, so here we can see, well, let me cancel. Okay, here we have a WordPress sandbox site, okay? And here we have, once we have installed, activate AutomatorWP plugin. Here, if we go to automations, we can add new automation, okay? Here, we can choose between for logged users or anonymous, or for these users that they don't have any login into our website. I think that it's more interesting when we used with login users, because then we can send an email to that user, and with anonymous, we don't have this, we can do that because we don't have any email, we don't have any name or whatever. But in case we need to make some actions, I don't know, to open a pop-up or whatever, this is very useful in that case. But we are going to do that with login option. Okay, so, well, first of all, let me put a name to that automation. So here is where the magic happens. Here there is the triggers. They explain that when this happens, and then we have to select which is the trigger. Here, when I click here, I can see all the options that we can choose in order to select the trigger. Okay, as I said, let's do that when a user purchase a product in our WooCommerce. So the trigger, I go to WooCommerce. These are all the options that we have to that we can use as a trigger. But in that case, I'm going to use that user purchase a product. Okay, perfect. So we can select which product if we want to run this automation just for one product or anyone. In that case, I'm going to choose one product, this one, download test. We click on save and we can put in times. I don't know. Maybe we want to create a coupon when this user has purchased for 10 times. But in that case, we are going to leave in one time. Okay. We are going to see later about the filters. Okay. Now let's going to select the action. What I want is to add that user to a group in our BuddyPress. Okay, so I'm going to select BuddyPress and I'm going to change this. We have a lot of options that we can do as an actions. And I'm going to choose that one, add user to a group. Okay. And as I said before, we can leave this in that way, or we can choose in which group we want to add the user. Here, I'm going to add to that group, for example. Okay, so we put save. And once another thing is that here we can select how many times we want to that a user can run this automation. And here we have this action, this option that if we add a new trigger, for example, I don't know, user views a product. Okay, we can do it. We can do it sequential, and that means that first the user has to view the product, and if the user after purchase that product, then the action will run. Okay, if we don't want that, we can unselect this, and doesn't matter when the user views the product, and doesn't matter when the user purchases the product. Even and can the let's imagine that first it doesn't make sense, but for example, the user first purchase the product and then the user view the product. Here, then this automation will run. But if we put that, if the user doesn't do that in these steps, then the automation will stop. But well, this is just a future. I'm going to delete because I want to show of the user. If not, this user will be as a guest visitor because we don't have this information about that user. This is why I was saying that this is very interesting when we are using in e-commerce, because if someone purchases a product, then we have this information from the user and we know who is that user. or a membership site, because in order to have access to the to the premium content, you have to log in. So this is where makes sense to make these automations.
I mean, yes, I think it's very, I think that these automations also help you to make some business decisions, or at least to advise somebody to make a business decision. Because if someone is growing a community, I mean, there's a number of already existing automation within other plugins, which actually might be similar or totally different to you, but still have the same option. And even Woo in itself, it has different options of, for instance, for the stocks and or the units or the supply. So, but also there is an interesting point which you guys are showing here, and that's development of community, right? If I got it, what can be done?
Yes, but for example, we can do upselling and cross-selling very easy, because once, let's say, for example, in the situation that a user purchase something in our e-commerce, maybe we can buy, I don't know, by 10 times, we can send a coupon or an offer to that user in order to activate more sales, for example. Or if we tag that user with some tag, we can activate a campaign with a special offer for those user that has that tag, because they have purchased a special product that for us is very important. For example.
That's very interesting. I mean, what you're saying, because the whole idea is actually to provide a great user experience, which will later on return in brand loyalty, and then again purchasing and profit, right? So I also wanted to ask, when it comes to automation, before starting any automation, there should be any serious work done, right? So here it's very, I think it's very easy and very self-explanatory how it can be used. So do you think that potential web developers and designers maintaining websites for clients, do you think that they could do some experiments actually using Automator and trying to understand how their clients could be even more happier and propose to them different techniques like we have tested, and it seems that people are opting out from the group that we are subscribing them. Did you try perhaps with the newsletter or something else? So I'm sure there is an option. I saw also, I wanted to ask you when it comes to this part where you actually are entering the triggers. Can you alternate the options, or those are connected with the plugin itself? So they understood what they can take from plugin and then actually post those options in the drop-down menu, or you can create or add to drop-down menu certain actions.
Okay, if I understand well, do you mean if how many options in triggers and actions we have currently in AutomatorWP? Right?
Can those be edited? Let's say I want to try something else. Let me see how many people, whoever, let's say, chooses a blue color t-shirt, I want to actually put him in this other.
Okay. You mean about more about design things and more
tailor-made. Can I tailor make it and add stuff like my client is launching a new, let's say I'm in fashion business and my client is launching a new winter season and it's all gonna be white. So I want to try to do and check out how it works. And let's say whoever signs up for white or won't use the product of the white collection, I take them to a new group or I give them a coupon or something like that.
This is a segmentation thing, because in any business, digital business, is very important to target our public. And maybe, for example, in e-commerce that we are selling, I don't know, white T-shirts. Maybe we can tag, for example, this user as white T-shirt, and maybe we can show another products that are similar to this product, for example.
Mhm.
This
All right.
this is what do you mean?
I mean, yes, I was just thinking if those positions in the drop down menu could be changed, can I ask not only if they purchase, but let's say if they review their account or whatever, you know, I'm just thinking, can we be creative when thinking about what people like to click. In the meantime, let me ask somebody, Lisa, would you have a question perhaps, or Carlos, we still didn't answer your first question, but let's hope the second one we will. And Estela, I mean, if you guys have any question regarding automation, I would really, I mean, I'm sure you all have clients, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, sure.
Tell us, please, what is your fear from automation? First of all, do you have a fear of automation?
No, I don't have a fear of automation. I just have very, very reluctant clients. And every time I talk about automating something, they panic because, you know, everything's going to break. And right now I am actually having to do something that I know I can create, that, you know, that I can automate more, but they don't want me to. We have a client that has webinars, and I need to do them in Eventbrite and add them to the website, but they don't want me to automate anything because the website is a bit complicated, and the developer is like, don't touch the website, don't add anything to the website. I'm like, dude, it's so easy to do, but no, I cannot do that. So I have to create events in Eventbrite, and then I have to go and manually update the website with events because the developer does not allow me to do anything, and the client don't want it either.
Okay. Well, in that case, I think that a very interesting thing that you can do that is ask if you can install AutomatorWP. Just one thing. You can go to the developer and say, okay, just only one thing. I just want to install this plugin, and that's all. Okay, and then with Zapier or Integromat, you can get the information from Eventbrite and send it to AutomatorWP and create a custom post or whatever, or a post with a category, or I don't know how is the structure in the website, but you can do that. You can create posts from external information.
That's a good thing to know. Anyone else, perhaps? I mean, I will wait for a couple of more seconds, and please, you might want to mute yourself if you don't want to show yourself on camera. But I'll just wait to see. In the meantime, if you come on, you guys are brave. You can just like join the discussion. So, I mean, when you first started, how did you actually start to use Automator? I mean, this is a very interesting. This is not only a technical concept, but it's also a business concept, and it gives a lot of information, not only about how many visitors, but actually it gives an information about people's choices. Last week we had a meetup on actually could shopping online be automated. So we spoke about what type of techniques people use to shop, and with Automator, I'm sure there is a lot of time saving. But how about debugging? I mean, how are we sure that automation is working well? That none of the potentials have been lost? And is there a way how you can actually follow that with certainty?
Well, I know some people that tracks these actions and translate these actions into minutes, that if they have to do that manually. But well, you here in logs, this is the history, how many automations has been run, which kind of actions has been done, triggers, which automation, in case we have more than one automation, activate the user, and or whatever. So I think that it's easy to see how many actions, if you go to logs, how many actions has been done, and you have not without you doing anything, just automate. And this is very interesting as well, because we can check if it's working and if there's any problem with all these automations or whatever. So, but I know people, some freak productive people, that they need to translate it into minutes, how many time they are saving. And well, but they send this information into, I don't know, into Instagram or Zapier, and then translate this kind of actions into, I don't know, 2 minutes or whatever. And then they see monthly how many time have they saved thanks to some automations as this one.
Awesome. I think this was a great talk, and I'm not sure if there were any other questions when it comes to the presentation and the usage itself. In the meantime, before anyone joins our discussion, I just wanted to ask you, from a marketing point of view, how good this is a source of information that later on could actually be understood or applied, or perhaps used to actually approach the community that is interested for the product or for the website?
Well, for example, in membership sites, one way to reduce the churn rate is have a good communication with your community. Because if the user feels that there's not anything new, then maybe in the next month they will unsubscribe from your site, for example. But if every time that you create a new class, you send an email, you communicate them, or every time that a user gets into your website and received I don't know, a new message, or they feel that this site is live, that you are doing things. This is very interesting to, for example, to reduce the churn rate and improve your community engagement, for example. But for me, the most in a marketing view, for me, the best thing is having all this information in my CRM or email marketing or marketing automation software. because maybe I'm interested to send an email to these users which they have purchased this product, or to all the users that are added to in that group or whatever. Because in that way I can send the best email with the best content for that user in the best moment.
Correct.
And
I
for
think
me,
that's an amazing thing. Thank you very
yeah.
much. That's
You're
seriously,
welcome.
this is, I think that's one of the most, that actually cuts the time for you to filter the data, perhaps have maybe even mismatching data, or perhaps not enough synchronized bases, right? It gives you the time to work in one platform for marketing. What do you use for CRM? Which program do you use for CRM?
Well,
That's a very hard question, I know.
yeah, because depends. I don't like to say softwares because the as 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 I work, my work is first listen to the requirements, and which is the business, and which are their needs, how they work, and then I provide the best solution for them. Okay, but in a general terms, I can say that, for example, PipeDrive, I think that it's a very interesting CRM. It's very useful, and you can automate some things there. And the free version of HubSpot CRM, this is another interesting option. And another one, I said, for example, Soho CRM. Well, I think that with these three options, they are the most common that I recommend
Thank you very
currently.
much.
Because maybe in the next months, there's a new CRM which is amazing. So, but what? Currently, these are the three main CRMs that I recommend.
This is awesome. I think we've got a number of useful advices when it comes to saving time, improving the quality of our lives, improving the lives of our clients and their businesses as well, because it seems that automation seriously could positively affect the lives of both of companies who are making money and consumers who are being taken care of. Since I see no more questions in the chat, and I don't see that anyone is actually has unmuted himself or herself to speak to us, I wouldn't want to take too much of your precious time. Time is, there is no bank for the time. So I think the time is the most valuable asset we have. So thank you, Gisela. It was really a pleasure to see what Automator and you have come up with for us tonight. It was a true pleasure to see how we can actually utilize something that we already use on a daily basis, but we just didn't know how. If you have any news for us, please join us at any time, and we will be more than happy to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you to organize this webinar meetup, and for your invitation. And for me, it's a pleasure to share this useful, and in order to improve your lives and business. So you're welcome.
Correct. I'm sure that many who will be watching this video later will understand the business value and the proposition that is behind, and the understanding the expectations are the worst thing that can happen in business, you know, especially if they're not.
Yeah.
So if we're able to fulfill expectations, it will be great. Estela, maybe you wanted to say something.
No. I was just gonna say goodnight, waiting for you to finish up.
Yeah, we talk a lot, you know that.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Irene, Carlos, Florian, Lisa left already, Francisco, Ruben. Thank you very much for joining. And I hope we will meet very soon with some new details, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gisela. Bye-bye.
Thank you.